Lee Dong-wook stood in chains before the biggest courtroom he had ever seen. The walls went up so high that clouds formed near the ceiling. Around him sat creatures from 800 different worlds. Some had scales, some had fur, and some looked like walking rocks. All of them stared at him with hate in their eyes. The human ambassador wore his best blue suit, even though the aliens had torn parts of it during his arrest. His hands were locked in metal cuffs that buzzed with electricity every time he moved. But Lee kept his back straight and his head high. He would not let these creatures see him break. "Human Lee Dong-wook," said the voice that boomed from above. The sound came from a giant lizard creature sitting on the highest chair. Its name was Vexthara, and it ruled this council of aliens. "You stand accused of war crimes against the Zephyrian people." Lee looked up at the creature. "I defended human families from raiders. That is not a crime." A wave of angry sounds filled the room. The aliens clicked, hissed, and roared at his words. Some hit their desks with claws or tentacles. The noise was so loud that Lee felt it in his chest. Silence. Vexthara's voice cut through the noise like a knife. The room became quiet again. "Human, you killed 300 Zephyrian ships. You destroyed their mining stations. You made war without permission from this council. They attacked our colonies first," Lee said. His voice was calm but strong. "They killed thousands of humans, men, women, and children. We asked this council for help many times. You did nothing." Captain Park So-young watched from her ship outside the station. Her vessel, the Incheon's Pride, was small compared to the alien warships around it. She could see the trial on her screen, and every word made her more angry. "Captain," said her second officer, Lieutenant Kim Tae-ho, "should we try to help him?" Park shook her head. "They have 1,000 ships out there. We have one. But we can record everything. Earth needs to see this." Back in the courtroom, an alien with blue skin and 6 arms stood up. "The humans are a young race," it said in a voice like breaking glass. "They do not understand galactic law. Perhaps we should be gentle with them." "Gentle?" Another alien with a shell like a crab stood up. "They have weapons that can punch through. Our best shields. They fight like demons. They are dangerous." "Exactly why they must be stopped," said Vexthara. "The humans think they can do whatever they want. They ignore our rules. They expand too fast. They ask too many questions. They must learn their place." Lee listened to them talk about humans like they were animals, like they were things to be controlled. His jaw got tight, but he said nothing. These creatures had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They thought they owned everything and everyone. "I will speak now," Lee said, his voice cutting through their chatter. "You will speak when we allow it," Vexthara snapped. "I am the ambassador of Earth," Lee said louder. "I have the right to defend my people and myself." The room went quiet. Again, even the aliens seemed surprised by his boldness. Lee stepped forward as much as his chains would let him. "You call us young. You call us dangerous. You are right about both things. We are young compared to you. We have only been in space for a few hundred years. You have been here for thousands." He looked around the room, meeting the eyes of as many aliens as he could. "But being young does not make us stupid. Being new does not make us wrong. You sit here in your great station and make rules for everyone. But who gave you that right?" More angry sounds from the crowd, but Lee kept talking. "You say we are dangerous? Because we defend ourselves. You say we do not follow your laws. But your laws say that raiders can attack our homes and we cannot fight back. Your laws say that we must ask your permission to protect our children. Those are not good laws." An alien that looked like a walking tree made a sound like wind through leaves. "The human speaks of laws, but humans make war on everything. They fight each other. They destroy their own planet. They are chaos." "Yes, we fight," Lee said. "We fight when we have to. We fought each other until we learned to work together. We almost destroyed our world until we learned to save it. We make mistakes, but we learn from them. That is what young races do, and that is why you must be controlled," said Vexthara, "before you bring that chaos to the rest of us." "The only chaos here," Lee said, "is the chaos of letting raiders attack innocent people while you do nothing." The trial went on for hours. Alien after alien stood up to say why humans were bad for the galaxy. They talked about human wars, human mistakes, human pride. They showed pictures of destroyed Zephyrian ships. They did not show pictures of destroyed human colonies. Finally, Vexathara called for the vote. All who believe the human Lee Dong-wook should die for his crimes, raise your voice. The sound that filled the room was like thunder. 846 different voices said yes. Only one voice was silent, a small creature in the back that looked afraid to speak. The vote is clear, Vexathara said. Lee Dong-wook of Earth, you will die for your crimes against the galactic order. They brought out a device that looked like a metal chair with wires. Lee knew what it was. He had seen the aliens use it before on other criminals. It would stop his heart and brain in seconds. As they pushed him toward the chair, Lee looked up at the great dome above. Somewhere beyond it was space. And beyond that was Earth. His home. His family. His people. Wait, he said. I have last words. Vexathara waved a clawed hand. Speak quickly. Lee turned to face the camera that was recording everything. He knew Captain Park was watching. He knew Earth was watching. My name is Lee Dong-wook, he said. I am the ambassador of Earth, the voice of humanity in this galaxy. I came here to make peace. I tried to follow your laws. I tried to make you understand that we just want to live in peace with our neighbors. His voice got stronger. But you have shown me that peace is not possible with creatures who see justice as a crime. You have shown me that talking to bullies is a waste of time. The aliens were getting restless, but Lee kept talking. You think you know humans. You think we are weak because we are young. You think you can kill our representative and we will crawl away like beaten dogs. Lee smiled, but it was not a happy smile. You have no idea what sleeping giant you have just awakened. They pushed him into the chair and activated the device. Lee's last words echoed through the chamber and across the galaxy. Earth remembers. Earth endures. Earth will answer. The human ambassador died with his eyes open, staring at the stars he would never see again. But his words traveled faster than light, racing toward a blue planet where 5 billion humans waited for news. Captain Park So-young closed her eyes as the signal ended. Then she opened them and started recording her report to Earth. The galaxy was about to learn what human justice looked like. The message from Captain Park reached Earth 3 days later. President Yoon Ji-hae sat in her office in Seoul, watching the recording of Lee Dong-wook's execution for the 5th time. Each time she watched it, her anger grew stronger. Around the A table sat the most powerful humans on Earth. General Choi Byung-ho commanded all of Earth's armies. Admiral Kang Min-seo led the space fleet. Dr. Lim Hai-wan ran the secret weapons program that most people did not know existed. How many people have seen this? President Yoon asked. Everyone, said her aide. All news channels are showing it. The internet is on fire. People are angry, very angry. President Yoon stood up and walked to the window. Below her, she could see thousands of people in the streets. They carried signs with Lee Dong-wook's picture. They chanted his final words. They demanded war. Madam President, said General Choi, the people want blood. Every military base in the world is flooded with volunteers. Young people are lining up to join the Space Force. What about the other nations? She asked. They are all calling for the same thing, said Admiral Kang. The British Prime Minister wants to send their fleet. The American President is talking about nuclear weapons. Even the Swiss want to fight. President Yoon had never seen anything like this. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth wanted the same thing, war against the aliens who had killed their ambassador. Dr. Lim, she said, tell me about the Vengeance Protocol. Dr. Lim Hai-wan opened a folder marked with red letters. We started planning this the day we made first contact with aliens. We knew they might not be friendly. We knew they might see us as a threat. She pressed a button and the room's walls became screens. They showed pictures of secret bases, hidden weapons, and ships that looked like nothing Earth had ever built before. We have been preparing for 20 years, Dr. Lim continued. Every colony ship we sent out carried weapons and soldiers, not just farmers and scientists. Every mining station in the asteroid belt is really a weapons factory. Every deep space mission was also a scouting mission. General Choi leaned forward. How many ships do we really have? The aliens think we have maybe 50 ships. Dr. Lim smiled. We actually have over 2,000. Most of them are hidden in empty star systems, waiting for orders. Admiral Kang looked shocked. 2,000? How did you hide them? We told everyone they were cargo ships or research vessels. We built them in space where satellites could not see them. We used materials from asteroids that do not show up on alien sensors. President Yoon studied the pictures on the walls. She saw weapons that could crack planets in half. She saw armor that could stop any alien weapon. She saw ships that could travel between stars in days instead of months. What about the Ghost Fleet? She asked. Dr. Lim's smile got bigger. That is our best secret. We built 1,000 ships with no human crew. They are controlled by advanced computers. They can fight for years without coming home. They can hide in empty space until we need them. Are you saying we can actually win a war against the entire galaxy? Asked General Choi. I am saying we can make them wish they had never heard of Earth, Dr. Lim replied. President Yoon walked back to her chair. The weight of the decision pressed down on her shoulders. If she said yes, humanity would go to war against hundreds of alien races. Millions of people might die. Earth itself might be destroyed. But she thought about Lee Dong-wook's words. She thought about the human families killed by alien raiders. She thought about the aliens laughing as they executed Earth's representative. Activate the vengeance protocol, she said. The room was quiet for a moment. Then everyone started moving at once. General Choi called his commanders. Admiral Kang sent coded messages to the fleet. Dr. Lim started waking up computers that had been sleeping for years. Within hours, the news spread across Earth. The president would speak to the world at sunset. Every television, every radio, every computer would carry her words. As the sun went down over Seoul, President Yoon stood before the cameras. Behind her was a picture of Lee Dong-wook in his diplomat's uniform. To her right was the flag of Earth, blue and green like the planet itself. My fellow humans, she began. 3 days ago, the Galaxy Council murdered our ambassador. They killed Lee Dong-wook for defending human families from alien raiders. They killed him for standing up to bullies. They killed him for refusing to bow down to their threats. Her voice got stronger as she spoke. The aliens think we are weak. They think we are young and stupid. They think they can kill our people and we will do nothing. She paused and looked directly into the camera. They are wrong. Around the world, people stopped what they were doing to listen. In New York, traffic stopped in the streets. In London, pubs went silent. In Tokyo, millions of people watched on their phones. Today, I am activating the Vengeance Protocol. This is a plan we have prepared for 20 years, hoping we would never need it. But the aliens have forced our hand. President Yoon held up a red folder. Every human colony will become a military base. Every human ship will become a warship. Every human citizen will become a soldier in this fight for justice. She opened the folder and read from it. We will not attack innocent aliens. We will not destroy planets full of families. But we will hunt down every creature that voted to kill Lee Dong-wook. We will destroy every ship that supports the Galaxy Council. We will tear down their empire of bullies and build something better. The president's voice became like steel. They wanted to teach us our place in the galaxy. We will teach them theirs. Lee Dong-wook said that Earth remembers, Earth endures, and Earth will answer. Today we begin to answer. She folded the paper and looked back at the camera. To the aliens watching this broadcast, I have a simple message. You killed the wrong human. You picked the wrong fight. You woke up the wrong species. As president, Yoon finished her speech. Lights began to appear in space around Earth. Hidden ships powered up their engines. Secret bases opened their doors. The Ghost Fleet received its wake-up signal and began to move. On the moon, Admiral Kang watched from the command center as his fleet came to life. Ships that had been disguised as rocks suddenly showed their true shape. Weapons that had been hidden in cargo containers began to charge up. How long until we are ready to attack? Asked his second-in-command. Admiral Kang looked at the screen showing human ships all across the solar system. 6 months to prepare everything. Then we show the galaxy what happens when you kill Earth's children. Far away on the Galaxy Council station, Bexathara watched the human president's speech. The big lizard was not worried. Humans had 50 ships, at most. The council had millions. What could one small planet do against the entire galaxy? Other council members felt the same way. They laughed at the human threats. They made jokes about primitive species getting angry. They did not know that human ships were already moving through space toward their worlds. Dr. Lim Haiwan stood in her secret laboratory, watching her computers wake up weapons that had been sleeping for decades. She thought about Lee Dong-wook and his final words. She thought about the aliens who had killed him. "Sleep well, Ambassador," she whispered to his picture on her desk. "We will make them pay for what they did to you." Above Earth, the first Ghost Fleet ships began their journey to the stars. They moved silently through space, invisible to alien sensors. They carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets and computers that knew no fear, no mercy, and no forgiveness. The galaxy had killed Earth's voice of peace. Now they would hear Earth's voice of war. 6 months after Lee Dong-wook's death, Admiral Kang Min-seo stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the Zephyrian home system through the main screen. 12 planets orbited a bright yellow star. The third planet was green and blue, home to 4 billion Zephyrians. They had no idea what was coming. "All ships report ready," said Commander Song Woo-jin from his stealth ship Soul's Vengeance. His voice came through the secure channel that the aliens could not hear. Around the system, 300 human ships waited in the darkness between stars. They had traveled for months to get here, moving slowly to avoid detection. Now they hung, in space like silent hunters ready to strike. "Colonel Bay, are your teams in position?" Admiral Kang asked. "Yes, sir," came the reply from Colonel Bay In-young. Her Special Forces teams had been hiding on asteroids and moons for weeks, waiting for this moment. "All targets are marked. We can take their defense stations in the first wave." Admiral Kang looked at the tactical display. Red dots showed Zephyrian ships and bases. Blue dots showed human forces. The humans were outnumbered 3-1, but they had advantages the aliens did not know about. "Beck-ho status report," the Admiral said. "All systems ready, Admiral," replied the artificial intelligence that controlled the Ghost Fleet. Its voice sounded human, but Admiral Kang knew it was a computer that could think faster than any living mind. 100 ghost ships are in position. We await your orders." The Zephyrians had been the ones who attacked human colonies. Their raiders had killed thousands of innocent people. Their government had refused to stop the attacks. When Earth complained to the Galaxy Council, the Zephyrians had laughed. Now it was time for them to stop laughing. "All ships," Admiral Kang said into his microphone. "This is for Lee Dong-wook. This is for every human family they killed. This is for justice. Attack." The first sign of trouble came when Zephyrian sensors picked up strange readings. Energy, signatures that did not match any known ship design, movement where empty space should be. "What is that?" asked the duty officer on the main defense station orbiting the second planet. Before anyone could answer, Soul's Vengeance dropped out of stealth mode right next to the station. The sleek human ship was half the size of the alien base, but its weapons were already charging. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself," the Zephyrian commander broadcast. Song Woo-jin opened a channel so everyone in the system could hear. "This is Commander Song Woo-jin of the Earthship Soul's Vengeance. We are here to collect payment for the murder of Ambassador Lee Dong-wook." The commander laughed. "One little human ship? You must be crazy." "Look again," Song said. All around the system, human ships suddenly appeared. They had been hiding behind stealth fields that made them invisible to alien sensors. 300 warships materialized out of nothing, their weapons already aimed at Zephyrian targets. The alien commander's laugh died in his throat. "Impossible," he whispered. "Our sensors would have detected you." "Your sensors are not as good as you think," Song replied. Then he gave the order to fire. The Soul's Vengeance unleashed its quantum disruptor cannons. The bright blue beams hit the defense station's shields and went right through them like they were made of paper. The station exploded in a ball of fire that could be seen from the planet below. All across the system, human ships opened fire at the same time. Their weapons were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Quantum disruptors that ignored shields, plasma cannons that could melt steel in seconds, missile swarms that could think for themselves. The Zephyrian fleet tried to respond, but they were already too late. Human ships moved faster than anything they had ever faced. Human weapons hit harder than should be possible. Human tactics were unlike anything in their military books. "How are they doing this?" screamed the Zephyrian admiral as his flagship's shields failed under human fire. The answer was simple. Humans had been studying alien technology for 20 years. They had taken every captured weapon, every stolen ship, every piece of alien equipment and improved it. Human engineers did not just copy alien designs, they made them better. Colonel Bae-in Young watched the space battle from her position on the fourth planet's moon. Her job was to capture the Zephyrian government and their military leaders. She could not let them escape to warn the rest of the galaxy. Teams Alpha through Echo, move out, she ordered. Her soldiers used jetpacks to fly from their hidden base to the government building on the planet below. They wore armor that made them invisible to alien eyes and weapons that could punch through any defense. The Zephyrian guards never saw them coming. "Building secured," reported Team Alpha leader. "We have the Prime Minister and his cabinet." "Defense. Headquarters taken," said Team Bravo. "All their generals are our prisoners." "Communications center under control," added Team Charlie. "They cannot send any messages for help." In just 2 hours, the entire Zephyrian government was in human hands. Their fleet was destroyed or surrendering. Their defense stations were burning wrecks. Their home system belonged to Earth. Admiral Kang opened a channel to the Zephyrian Prime Minister, who was now sitting in chains just like Lee Dong-wook had been. "Prime Minister Vexkoth," the Admiral said. "You remember Ambassador Lee Dong-wook? Do you not?" The alien leader's purple skin had turned pale gray with fear. "This is an act of war against the Galaxy Council. They will destroy you for this." "The Galaxy Council already destroyed our ambassador," Admiral Kang replied. "Now we are returning the favor. Your people attacked our colonies. Your government laughed when we asked for justice. Your representative voted to kill our diplomat." The Admiral's voice got colder. "You wanted to teach humans their place in the galaxy. Today we teach you yours." Around the Zephyrian homeworld, the human fleet arranged itself in perfect formation. Every ship's weapons pointed at the planet below. 4 billion aliens looked up at the sky and saw death hanging over their heads. But Admiral Kang did not give the order to fire. Instead, he broadcast Lee Dong-wook's final speech. Every radio, every television, every communication device on the planet carried the dead ambassador's words. "Earth remembers. Earth endures. Earth will answer." Then Admiral Kang's voice filled the silence. Ambassador Lee Dong-wook came to the galaxy in peace. He tried to protect innocent people. He asked for justice, not war. Your leaders killed him for doing his job. The Admiral paused to let his words sink in. "We could destroy your world right now. We could kill every one of you just like you killed him. But we are not like you, we do not murder innocents." He looked at the camera that was broadcasting to the entire planet. "Your government will surrender. Your military will disband. Your raiders will never attack another human colony. If you agree to these terms, your people will live. If you refuse, we will find leaders who are more reasonable." Prime Minister Vexkoth looked at the screens showing human ships around his world. He had no choice. His fleet was gone. His military was captured. His people were defenseless. "We surrender," he said. Admiral Kang nodded. "Commander Song, broadcast our message to the Galaxy Council." Song Woo-jin smiled as he opened a channel that would reach every alien world. "This is the human fleet speaking to the Galaxy Council. We have taken the Zephyrian system in exactly 72 hours. Their government has surrendered. Their military is disbanded." He looked directly into the camera. "This is payment for the murder of Ambassador Lee Dong-wook. But it is only the first payment. We know who voted to kill him. We know where you live. We are coming for all of you. The message ended with Lee Dong-wook's final words echoing across the galaxy. Then the human fleet disappeared into hyperspace, leaving behind a conquered system and a very clear message. Earth had kept its promise. They remembered. They endured. And now they were answering. On the Galaxy Council station, Vexithara watched the human broadcast with growing fear. The lizard leader had thought humans were weak. Now he realized they might be the most dangerous species in the galaxy. How many ships do they really have? He asked his military advisor. We do not know, came the worried reply. Our intelligence was completely wrong. They could have thousands of ships hidden throughout the galaxy. Vexithara looked at the list of council members who had voted to kill the human ambassador. Atar. 146 names. If the humans could conquer the Zephyrians in 3 days, what could they do to the rest of them? For the first time in thousands of years, the Galaxy Council was afraid. 1 year after the Zephyrian conquest, Fleet Admiral No Seung-wan stood in the command center of the new Incheon, humanity's largest warship. Around him, holographic displays showed the entire galaxy. Red dots marked alien worlds that had voted to kill Lee Dong-wook. Blue dots showed human victories. The red dots were disappearing one by one. Admiral, said Captain Jang Ho-seok, commander of the new Incheon. We have reports from all fronts. The Corvani system has fallen. The Tharkan Empire surrendered this morning. The Vexillanti are asking for peace talks. Admiral No nodded as he studied the tactical displays. In 12 months, humanity had conquered or destroyed 47 alien civilizations. Each victory was swift, decisive, and terrifying. The galaxy was learning that humans did not just wage war, they perfected it. What about the Drakmari? He asked. Their home fleet is hiding behind their moon, Captain Jang replied. They think the gravity field will protect them from our weapons. Admiral No smiled coldly. Show them how wrong they are. Deploy the singularity torpedoes. The captain's eyes widened. Sir, those weapons could crack their moon in half. The Drakmari voted to kill Ambassador Lee. Their representatives laughed when he died. They forfeited their right to mercy. Admiral No turned to the weapons officer. Fire. 6 torpedoes launched from the new Incheon, each one carrying a miniature black hole in a magnetic bottle. When they hit the Drakmari moon, the gravitational fields collapsed and the moon simply vanished. The alien fleet hiding behind it was pulled into the void, crushed into atoms. The Drakmari homeworld surrendered within an hour. Across the galaxy, other human fleets were having similar success. The Ghost Fleet had become a nightmare that haunted alien dreams. Ships with no crew, controlled by artificial minds that felt no fear or doubt. They appeared without warning, struck without mercy, and vanished into the dark between stars. Captain Park So-young, now promoted to High Admiral, commanded the Ghost Fleet from a secret base in the Kuiper Belt. She watched her robotic ships through thousands of cameras and sensors, directing them like pieces on a chessboard that covered the entire galaxy. Beck Ho, she said to the artificial intelligence that helped her control the fleet. Status report on the hegemony operation. Mission proceeding perfectly, Admiral, the AI replied in its calm, emotionless voice. Ghost Fleet units have eliminated 63% of Saurian military assets. Estimated time to complete conquest, 48 hours. Admiral Park smiled. The Saurian hegemony had been the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Their leader, Vexithara, had personally ordered Lee Dong-wook's execution. Now their empire was crumbling under the assault of ships they could not see coming. But the humans were not just winning through superior weapons. They were also winning through superior intelligence. Ambassador Shin Ye-jin, a former spy who now served as Earth's diplomatic representative, had built a network of informants throughout the galaxy. Admiral Park, came Shin's voice over the secure channel. I have news from the core worlds. 12 more species have withdrawn from the Galaxy Council. They are asking for separate peace treaties with Earth. What are they offering? Admiral Park asked. Complete surrender. They want to join our side before we decide to conquer them too. This was the genius of humanity's strategy. They did not just attack Council worlds. They made examples of them. Each conquest was broadcast across the galaxy, showing what happened to species that opposed Earth. The message was clear: join us willingly or be destroyed like the others. Some alien leaders tried to organize resistance. Council General Tormach, a warrior from the Krexani systems, attempted to build a coalition to fight the humans. He sent messages to every remaining Council world, asking them to unite against the human threat. The response was not what he hoped for. "The Veltari Confederacy regrets that we cannot join your coalition," came one reply. "We have signed a non-aggression pact with Earth." "The Thos Republic is withdrawing from all military agreements," said another. "We refuse to fight a war. We cannot win." "The Human Liberation Fleet appeared in our system yesterday," said a third message. "We surrendered immediately. We recommend you do the same." General Tormach stared at his communication screens as ally after ally abandoned the cause. In just 2 years, the humans had destroyed an alliance that had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. The Liberation Fleet that had terrorized Tormach's allies was Admiral No's newest creation. It was built in secret shipyards throughout the solar system, using technology that made the Ghost Fleet look primitive. These ships could travel between stars in hours instead of days. They carried weapons that could sterilize entire planets. Most importantly, they were crewed by humans who had trained their whole lives for this war. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Commander Kim from the sensor station, "the Liberation Fleet has reached the Anturian core worlds. They are demanding surrender." "Admiral." No pulled up the communication from Captain Zhang. The Anturians had been some of the loudest voices calling for Li Dongwook's death. Their representatives had cheered when the execution was broadcast. "Captain Zhang," Admiral No said, "give them one chance to surrender. If they refuse, show them what the Liberation Fleet can do." The Anturian leaders, sitting in their crystal palaces on worlds that had never known war, rejected the human demands. They believed their powerful shields and ancient weapons would protect them. They were wrong. The Liberation Fleet's primary weapons were gravity cannons that could turn planets inside out. When the Anturians refused to surrender, Captain Zhang demonstrated these weapons on one of their moons. The satellite folded in on itself and became a small star that burned for exactly 60 seconds before going dark. The Anturians surrendered before the light faded, but not everyone was giving up. In the deepest parts of the galaxy, Council loyalists were gathering for one final battle. They had assembled the largest fleet in galactic history, over 10 million ships from hundreds of different worlds. Their plan was simple: find Earth and destroy it before the humans could conquer any more systems. They never got the chance. Ambassador Shin's spy network had been watching the enemy fleet for months. As soon as it began to move toward Earth, every human commander received the same message: Operation Final Justice is authorized. Show them what happens when they threaten our home. The enemy fleet never made it halfway to Earth. Human forces struck them at a dozen different points along their route. Ghost ships appeared out of nowhere and tore through their formations. Liberation Fleet vessels dropped out of hyperspace and unleashed weapons that turned battleships into clouds of gas. The battle lasted 3 days. When it was over, the largest military force in galactic history had been completely destroyed. Not a single human ship was lost. Council General Tormach, commanding from his flagship, watched his entire fleet die around him. His ship was the last one left, drifting alone in space while human vessels surrounded it. "This is Admiral No Seung-wan of the Human Liberation Fleet," came the voice over his communications. "General Tormach, you have 2 choices. Surrender now and live as our prisoner, or die with your ship." Tormach looked at his bridge crew, young officers who had believed they were fighting for galactic peace. Now they were about to die because their leaders had made the wrong choice 2 years ago. "We surrender," he said quietly. As Tormach's ship was taken prisoner, Admiral No broadcast a message to every remaining world in the galaxy. His voice was calm but filled with authority that no one could ignore. "People of the galaxy," he began. 2 years ago, your leaders murdered our ambassador. They killed Li Dongwook for trying to protect innocent humans from raiders and bullies. They thought we were weak. They thought we would do nothing." He paused, letting the silence stretch across space. They were wrong. We have destroyed their fleets. We have conquered their worlds. We have ended their empire of fear and replaced it with justice. The Admiral's image appeared on screens throughout the galaxy. But we are not conquerors. We are liberators. We offer every species the same choice. Join us in building a better galaxy, or be swept away like the council that oppressed you. As his message ended, reports started coming in from across known space. Planet after planet was surrendering to human forces. Species that had been under council rule for thousands of years were welcoming human liberation fleets as heroes. The Galaxy Council still existed, but barely. Only a few dozen worlds remained loyal, and they were negotiating surrender terms. The empire that had ruled space for 10 millennia had fallen in less than 2 years. Admiral No looked at the tactical display one more time. Almost all the red dots were gone now. The species that had voted to kill Lee Dong-wook had either surrendered or been destroyed. The galaxy was ready for new leadership, human leadership. Captain Zhang, he said, set course for Earth. It is time to build something better than what we destroyed. As the Liberation Fleet turned toward home, every human ship in the galaxy received the same message. The war was over. They had won. Now came the harder task of ruling the galaxy they had conquered and making sure something like the Galaxy Council could never rise again. Lee Dong-wook had died asking for justice. His people had given him vengeance instead. Now they would give the galaxy something it had never had before, true peace. 2 years after Lee Dong-wook's death, Emperor Ryu Jae-sung stood in the Great Hall of Luna Station, looking out at representatives from 800 alien species. But unlike the old Galaxy Council, these aliens were not sitting in judgment over humans. They were asking humans for permission to join the new galactic government. The transformation had been complete and shocking. In 24 months, humanity had gone from being the galaxy's newest and weakest member to its undisputed ruler. The Terran hegemony now controlled over 90% of known space, and the remaining worlds were begging to join voluntarily. Your Majesty, said Prime Minister Oh Yoon-ji, humanity's new head of galactic administration. The Corvani delegation is requesting an audience. They want to discuss joining the hegemony. Emperor Ryu nodded. The Corvani had been among the loudest voices calling for Lee Dong-wook's execution. Now their leaders traveled across the galaxy to ask for mercy from the species they had tried to destroy. Send them in, he said, but remind them that they are petitioners now, not rulers. The Corvani ambassador entered the hall with his head bowed low. His blue skin had turned pale with fear, and his 6 arms trembled as he approached the human throne. Behind him walked 2 guards, but they carried no weapons. In the new galaxy, only humans were allowed to bear arms in government buildings. Great, Emperor, the alien said, dropping to his knees. The Corvani Republic humbly requests membership in the Terran hegemony. We offer our complete submission to human authority. Emperor Ryu studied the creature that had once helped sentence Earth's ambassador to death. 2 years ago, this alien had laughed at human weakness. Now he crawled on the floor, begging for human protection. Why should we trust you? The Emperor asked. Your people voted to kill our representative. You celebrated his death. You called humans primitive animals who needed to be controlled. The ambassador's voice cracked with desperation. We were wrong, Your Majesty. We did not understand. Human strength. We thought the old ways were correct. We have learned better. Have you? Emperor Ryu stood up from his throne and walked down to where the alien knelt. Or are you just afraid because our fleets surround your worlds? Both, Your Majesty, the ambassador admitted. We are afraid. But we have also seen what human rule means. The worlds that joined you early are prosperous and peaceful. Their people are happy. The old council only brought fear and oppression. This was true. Humanity's approach to ruling the galaxy was completely different from the old council. Instead of imposing their will through fear, humans offered partnership and protection. Species that joined the hegemony willingly were treated as equals. Their cultures were preserved, their laws respected, their people given the same rights as human citizens. But species that had opposed Earth faced a different fate. High Admiral Park, Emperor Ryu said to the woman standing beside his throne. What is the status of the former council worlds? High Admiral Park. So Young, now commander of all human military forces, consulted her datapad. 47 species have been placed under direct human administration. Their governments have been dissolved. Their military leaders are in prison. Their people are learning to live under our laws. She looked at the kneeling Corvani ambassador. The choice is simple. Join us willingly and keep your freedom, or resist and lose everything. Emperor Ryu returned to his throne. The decision he made now would affect billions of lives. The Corvani had been enemies, but they were also offering genuine surrender. Li Dongwook had always believed in mercy for those who admitted their mistakes. The Corvani Republic will be accepted into the Terran hegemony, he announced. But there are conditions. Your military will be disbanded. Your government will be supervised by human administrators. Your children will learn about Ambassador Li Dongwook in their schools, so they never forget the cost of injustice. The alien ambassador's relief was visible. Thank you, Your Majesty. We accept all conditions. We are grateful for your mercy. As the Corvani delegation left, Emperor Ryu turned to Prime Minister O. How many more requests do we have today? 16 species want to join us, she replied. 8 want to negotiate trade agreements. 3 are asking for protection from pirates. And 1 is requesting permission to build a memorial to Ambassador Li. The memorial request came from the Altarian Collective, a species that had voted against Li's execution. They had been the only voice of conscience in the old council, and now they wanted to honor the human who had died trying to bring justice to the galaxy. Approve the memorial, Emperor Ryu said. Li Dongwook should be remembered by more than just humans. Later that day, Emperor Ryu traveled to the Li Dongwook Memorial Hall on Luna Station. The hall was built where the old Galaxy Council chamber had stood, in the exact spot where Earth's ambassador had been executed. Now it was a place of pilgrimage for beings from across the galaxy who wanted to learn about justice and sacrifice. Inside the hall stood a statue of Li in his diplomatic uniform, his hand raised as if speaking his final words. Around the walls were inscribed the names of every human who had died in the war that followed his death. At the base of the statue were flowers and gifts from alien visitors who came to pay their respects. Your Majesty, said a voice behind him. Emperor Ryu turned to see Kethvar, the last surviving member of the old Galaxy Council leadership. The small gray alien had been captured during the final battle, and now served as a witness to the old regime's crimes. What do you want, Kethvar? The Emperor asked. To apologize, the alien said simply. I was there when we condemned Ambassador Li. I voted for his death. I believed we were protecting the galaxy from a dangerous species. He looked up at the statue with sad eyes. I was wrong about everything. Emperor Ryu studied the old alien. Kethavar was one of the few council members still alive. Most had died in the war or been executed for war crimes. But Kethavar had cooperated with human investigators, helping to identify the worst criminals and providing evidence of council corruption. Why did you do it? The Emperor asked. Why did you vote to kill him? Fear, Kethvar replied. We had ruled the galaxy for so long that we forgot how to do anything except rule. When humans appeared with their questions and their demands for justice, we saw a threat to our power. We thought if we killed your representative, you would go away. The Ribach alien looked directly at Emperor Ryu. We never imagined you would replace us entirely. We never wanted to, the Emperor said. Li came here seeking partnership, not conquest. You forced this war on us. I know, Kethvar said sadly. And now the galaxy has a better government than it ever had under the Council. Your people have brought more peace in 2 years than we managed in 2000. This was also true. Under human rule, the galaxy was experiencing unprecedented prosperity. Trade routes that had been controlled by council cronies were now open to everyone. Pirates and raiders had been eliminated by human fleets. Scientific research was flourishing as species shared knowledge freely, instead of hoarding it for advantage. Most importantly, the strong no longer preyed on the weak. Human law was simple but absolute. All species were equal, all people had rights, and injustice would be met with swift punishment. "Your Majesty," came High Admiral Park's voice over his communicator. "The ceremony is about to begin." "Emperor." Ryu nodded and walked to the podium where Li's statue stood. Outside, representatives from hundreds of worlds waited to hear his speech. Today marked the second anniversary of Li Dongwook's death, and it had become a galactic holiday dedicated to justice and remembrance. "Citizens of the galaxy," Emperor Ryu began, his voice carried to every inhabited world by the most advanced communication network ever built. 2 years ago today, the old Galaxy Council murdered our ambassador. They killed Li Dongwook because he dared to speak for justice. They thought his death would silence the voice of freedom. He paused, looking out at the sea of alien faces watching him. They were wrong. Li's death did not silence the voice of freedom. It became the rallying cry that brought freedom to every corner of the galaxy. The Emperor gestured to the statue behind him. Li Dongwook came here as a voice of peace. He tried to work within the old system. He believed that words and laws could create justice. The Council taught us that sometimes justice requires action. His voice grew stronger. But we did not seek vengeance for its own sake. We sought to build something better than what we destroyed. Today, no species lives in fear of raiders. No government rules through oppression. No representative faces death for defending their people. Emperor Ryu looked directly into the cameras that carried his image across the galaxy. The old council believed that might made right. They believed that age gave them wisdom and power gave them authority. We have proven them wrong. Right makes might. Justice gives wisdom. Service grants authority. As his speech ended, the ceremony began. One by one, representatives from alien worlds came forward to lay flowers at Li's statue. Many of them wept as they approached, understanding that their freedom had been bought with this human's blood. The last to approach was a group of children from different species. They had been born after the war and had grown up in the peaceful galaxy that Li's sacrifice had created.